Grandad, can you tell me the story of how you met Nan?
I met your Nan in 1946 in Spandau, Berlin. Myself and my friends were on the way to the British Army canteen, and there was three girls coming towards us, and one was your Nan on Schönwaldenstrasse.
We are here now we have to go to the crossings.
So, this is it. This is the spot where Nan and Grandad met.
And we are chatting, and that's how we first met.
So it was love at first sight on the side of the street, was it?
Yes, yeah, it was, yeah. On the 20th of March 1948. We had problems getting a wedding dress, and my wife had to borrow one from one of her friends at the finish, and we distilled our own alcohol from potatoes and flavoured it with different flavours. The best we could do on the circumstances.
And now I'm in Spandau, standing outside the church they got married at. Right there.
The padre married us, the army padre married us in that church in Spandau, directly opposite the notorious Spandau jail where Hess was kept, one of the top Nazis. And according to tradition, when you get married in Germany, the neighbours bring all their old crockery out and they throw it down and smash it at the flat door to bring you luck in your future life. They knock the door and you have to give them a piece of cake. So I cleared all the crockery up, tipped it on a piece of waste ground opposite your nan's flat, and the next thing you know, it had all come back and they put it back, shouted it all in front of the door again, so they wanted another piece of cake. When I first went to Germany, was forbidden to fraternise with Germans at all, but they took that ruling off eventually. It was a sorry state of affairs, but then again, yeah, that's war. And we were warned by the army when we went out off duty, like, if it was a windy day, to be very, very careful, because the shells of building used to collapse in the wind. I've been on a German platform at one time, and the trains, I mean, they weren't just passengers, ordinary sitting down passengers, they were on the roof, travelling on the roof and hanging on the sides. I noticed this woman with a big haversack on, which was absolutely full. She couldn't get up off the lines onto the platform. So I gave her a helping hand, pulled her up, and she looked at me in amazement. She couldn't believe it, I don't think, that an Englishman soldier would be helping a German up like that. Yeah, one night we made arrangements with my friend, private mail, who arranged to meet at a fancy dress ball that was taking place at the Café Lubel. I went to collect my wife, and she was suffering with severe frostbite. She could hardly walk, so there was no way letting Stan know that I wasn't coming. So I dressed the frostbite as best I could and left the flat about 11:30 to go back to the barrack. I noticed a red glare in the sky, and I thought, oh, there's a fire somewhere. They put me straight on ambulance out to where we'd arranged to be. German firemen were there. They were spraying the water on the floor hopefully to stop it collapsing, but it did eventually collapse. Stan, my mate, was amongst them. Apparently this one girlfriend that he was with got out. He didn't realise and went back to find her and couldn't get out himself. He was found just by the entrance there. He was covered with bodies and that. So so that was a tragedy, which I couldn't sleep properly for a few nights after that. And the next thing was the actual identification of the bodies, which I had to identify Stan. We was quite close friends. If it wasn't for my wife's frostbite, we'd have been there as well. Yeah, there was a bit of animosity, of course, after the war between Germans and English, you know. We stayed at my mum's house, and the neighbours and people that my mother had known before wouldn't speak to her. As soon as they knew I'd married a German girl, and that was it, they boycotted her. Yeah, it was quite difficult for the wife to move over a different country, different environments and that, different customs. But things gradually got better and better, but she did find it very hard. Well, I think she was a bit bewildered really, because coming from sort of the way things were in Berlin with nothing and all bomb buildings and all that, you know, it's a bit bewildered, like a bit overwhelming, I think, for her. I always remember we sat down to a Sunday roast, and she wouldn't start the dinner, and my mother said to her, "What's wrong, Margaret?" She said, "I can't eat this," she said. "Why now? There's nothing wrong with it, sit down there." She said, "Mom, I can't eat this because the way things are back at home." I think she felt a bit guilty to that, knowing that her mum and dad and friends and, you know, over in Germany was having to scrape to get different things, food together. I did learn some German, and your nan had learned English at school. Ich habe eine große Hunger.
And what does that mean?
At the moment, I'm feeling hungry. My favourite is roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, and gravy, roast potatoes. Yes, that's my favourite.
Not roast pork with crackling?
And roast pork and crackling. I love crackling as well, yeah. Yeah, roast pork and crackling as well comes very near second, yeah. I like a Murphy's Stout, an Irish Murphy's Stout. That's my favourite drink at the moment, yeah. And occasional whiskey, of course. I occupy myself in the garden there, growing different things such as lettuce and spring onions. And crosswords, I do, to stimulate the brain.
You're on Facebook now, aren't you?
Yeah. On Facebook now, yes. So I'm getting there. This new technology, I'm getting there. Gradual, very gradual, but I'm starting to get there. Oh, it's one. I was serving with the anti-aircraft division in Birmingham. They trained us on these rocket projectors. It was my turn to fire the rockets, and there was an officer in charge, and he scanned the skies with these binoculars, and yes, he gave the command, "Yes, all clear, fire," and we fired. 2 rockets went up in the air, and as we fired, a Lancaster bomber come out from behind a bank of clouds, and you could hear the engine rev up. I think the pilot must have thought, oh, coming back from a bombing raid and now people are firing at us. And the officer said, oh, I see, we could count that as a near miss, chaps. That's all he said. I think we count that as a near miss.
First came love, then came marriage, then came a baby in a baby carriage.
Maureen, Michael, Deborah, Raymond, Michelle. Mouth to feed and mortgage to pay. So yeah, so I used to chase jobs that paid the most money. The problem arose the amount of family I got, 5 children. So yeah, the first house I bought was a 2-bedroom house. At that time we got 2 children. So, and the third one was coming along, so I thought, oh, it's going to be two practices, I've got enough room. So we said, looking around for a bigger house, 3-bedroom house. We found one, we went around and there was one in Foden Road, Great Bar. My wife was quite pleased with it. That was 1,750. Yeah, so, but it's all relative to the earnings, you see. But anyway, so we decided that was it, that was a house for us. We went to a place called Differing in Wales quite a few times. The children like that with the high sand dunes and that. And we used to have some fun there. And I hired a 6-berth caravan, and that's how we spent our holidays really. Dragging the pushchair up with the child up the sand dunes to get onto the beach. Yeah, yeah. And playing hide and seeks amongst the sand dunes, and had quite a bit of fun. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so far I got 7 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing history, that is, where the red hair come from. But yeah, yeah, I'm suspicious of the postman actually. Yeah, children started to move elsewhere, more in New Zealand, and son Raymond to New Zealand. So yeah, so that's 12,000 miles away. I'd rather all be together, obviously, but I mean, that's life, and you do what you want to do, and otherwise you regret it. If you didn't do what you want to do, you regret it in later life, saying, oh, I wish I had done this, but it's too late then. Having children on both sides of the world, it means that I got the advantage of having more holidays. I've seen the rest of the world really, which I wouldn't have done normally.
How many times have you been to New Zealand, Grandad?
I've been 10 times altogether. Each time staying 12 weeks. In total, it works out about 2.5 years I spent in New Zealand. Yeah, I would. I'd go back there tomorrow if I could. No doubt about that. I love the pace of life and the people and the sort of openness of the countryside and the sunshine in summer, of course, yeah. And the beaches, like Mount Maunganui. Sorry, Mount Maunganui. Yeah, it's a nice place. Yeah.
Was that your first time ever in a kayak?
Kayak, I know. But my back was killing me. Yeah, I bought you a speaker, didn't I?
Karaoke machine.
Karaoke.
Yeah, one Christmas.
I enjoyed that, fishing for snapper, fish called snapper in New Zealand. Yeah, it was good, that was, going out on a boat there. I had a long time before I could really coax it to go. But at the finish I did, that was, the first time was when my son Raymond got married. And she really enjoyed it. On the plane, she was forever looking out crossing to Australia. Well, look there. Look at this, look at that, look at that. So, yeah, she really enjoyed it at the finish. Yeah, because she was only 72 years of age at the time. And no warning, there was no previous warning of anything being wrong. Just happened suddenly. 16th of December 2003, I dodged down to the cottage store, the local store here, to get a Christmas card that we forgot to get for someone. And I left my wife wrapping Christmas presents up on the coffee table, sitting on the settee. And I say I wasn't away more than 10 minutes. And my wife was holding her head saying, help me, help me. I said, what's happened? She said, oh, I'm in pain. She said, my head, the back of my head, help me. She said, I can't see the light, I can't see the light. So that was it, when it took her sight away. I thought, no, this is not right, so I phoned for ambulance. They'd done a scan and it was one of the major blood vessels had burst at the rear of the brain. And the consultant said there's nothing we can do. She says, you'll gradually pass away. She says, there's nothing we could do. Just hemorrhage. 4 hours from start to finish. That was it.
But you two have held us together and made the family strong. The two of you have done so much for all of us here. Babysitting, decorating and car mending, and sometimes just a lending a willing ear. It's not what's on the outside, but what comes from within that counts. You've given it all to the family in sizable amounts. Children have all grown up and had families of their own, going to live in far-off lands. How time has flown. Although we're not always together, we're never far apart, because we always hold you both dear to us in our hearts.